Many men in today's age are suffering with erectile dysfunction or weak erections. As men, that can be detrimental to our self-confidence. So I want to give you a few things that you can do to have stronger, healthier erections and to be able to last longer in the bedroom so that you can show up powerfully in the bedroom in your relationship. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Nikula Das and I help men master their S3X energy so you can be a powerhouse both in and outside of the bedroom and ultimately unleash your God-given abilities. If you want to learn more about the process of transmutation and you want to get an alchemy routine that you can use and apply right away to start working with that energy in a conscious way, go take the free transmutation guide. You can also book some time with me or send me a message if you've got further questions. First of all, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction, weak erections, premature ejaculation, just can't last that long in the bedroom, I want you to know that you're not alone. Literally millions upon millions of men are suffering with this right now. And quite frankly, Big Pharma is cashing in big time, right? The little pills, Viagra and Cialis and all of these things. And, there's, like nitric oxide and Shilajit and all kinds of things are being sold to solve this problem. And that's why it's being sold, to solve the problem. And I want to give you a few natural things that you can do, however, to reverse any kind of premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, and to be able to last longer. The first thing is that if you're watching adult content, cut that out. That is definitely contributing to your weak erections and erectile dysfunction. Think about when you are, jerking off online, watching a video. It's very generally a vigorous activity. You get the kung fu grip, you're holding pretty tight and it's all hunched over. And the way that you, basically the way that you self-pleasure is the way that you're gonna show up and train your body. So what happens is many men, because they started masturbating to highly stimulating adult content from a young age, you've trained your nervous system to get very ignited very quickly, to have a high dopamine spike. And when you have a high dopamine spike, that dopamine pushes you to ejaculation. When you do that over and over again, just like any muscle, if you overuse a muscle, that muscle gets weaker because there's no time to repair. So the first thing that you want to do, and there's a whole other sets of like hormonal imbalances that come with adult content. So if you're watching adult content and you're having erectile dysfunction or anything like this, cut the adult content out. If you're struggling, if you feel like it's an addiction or a vice, make sure that you connect with me. We've got a 30-day challenge. We've had great success helping men quit adult content forever, so I can support you in the process. If you don't cut that out, it's hard to say whether that's actually contributing to the problem or not. So to really understand the problem, you have to cut things out to figure out what's going on. Now, many, many men have cut that out, and all of a sudden, their libido returns to normal, their erections, are hard again, they're lasting longer in the bedroom, they're enjoying real women and real sex again. So there's so many benefits that men have experienced because of quitting pornography. So that's the first step. Second thing is, what you eat really affects your erection. So erections is affected by blood flow. And so if you're eating a lot of processed food, if you're carrying a lot of excess fat, that could really damage your erection and your overall libido. And if your body is under stress and your cortisol levels are high, therefore your nervous system is going to be agitated. You will be living in a sympathetic state. So your nervous system has two states, a sympathetic state and a parasympathetic state. Sympathetic state is your fight, flight, freeze, I'm hungry, I'm horny, right? It puts us into a stressful state. And that's a good thing. Cortisol is not bad in itself. It's what got our ancestors to go hunt or to be able to go for long fasts without eating food. So there's a benefit there. But in today's world, it doesn't make sense to be living under that kind of stress. Most of our ancestors lived under a stress of physical needs. Most of our stress are psychological and emotional, right? Most of our physical needs are taken care of. We've got something to eat. We've got a roof over our head. We're not scared that a lion's gonna eat us, right? So most of our stuff is mental stress now, right? Whether it's financial stress, stress in the relationship, just overstimulated by high dopamine activities, which is what mostly is happening. This means you're living in a sympathetic state. And because you're in a sympathetic state, you're constantly agitated, your nervous system's agitated, and you're looking for release. Hence, you are ejaculating quickly. It's kind of like the car's already revved up, so all you have to do is tap the accelerator, boom, it takes off. But if the car isn't even turned on, then it takes the time for the car to warm up. So similarly, being stressed out is like the car is already revved up. So what I would suggest is, first of all, take a look at your lifestyle. Cut out the alcohol, cut out the drugs, marijuana, caffeine, sugars, processed foods. Now, if you're doing it all, you're smoking a joint, drinking a coffee, having a beer, playing video games, scrolling on social media, right? That's all stimulating you. So start to cut those out at least one by one and start to wean yourself off of those things. I think my wife and I were having a conversation just the other day. We're talking about what is the people that live the longest? What's the common denominator? They live a stress-free life. They're more chill. They're not overstimulated. So you want to make sure that you start to simplify your life and wean yourself off of these things because they're not serving you in any way. Exercise is going to help. Lifting weights is going to help because it's going to increase blood flow. It's going to increase blood flow and it's going to open you up. And as you open up, when I say open it up, meaning the blood vessels will open up, your heart will start pumping better, your whole system will start working more, your energy, your chi will start flowing through your body, and boom, your erections will start to get really hard. And what you can do is there's a few things that you can do. For example, you could do like what we call tantric massages. Basically, like if you take your penis and like in the shower, put some soap on your hand and just stretch out the penis, right? 30 seconds downward, 30 seconds to the right, 30 seconds upward, 30 seconds to the left. What this does is like stretching out the muscle. It increases the blood flow in the muscle, and you'll notice that your erection gets stronger. You can actually add some size as well to your penis, some length, by doing those exercises over time. Now, like any exercise, don't overdo it. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna have a big cock, and just because then you could damage yourself, right? It's a gradual process. If you do this consistently 3 times a week in the shower, you take a few minutes to do these stretches, and I have a whole tutorials on how to do this properly inside of my alchemy training. This will actually help you increase the blood flow, increase erections, and also over time you can increase in size. As far as lasting long in the bedroom as well and increasing erection, last thing I want to share with you in this video is exercises, Kegels and reverse Kegels. I teach 2 different routines. One's PC muscle workouts, where basically you do a Kegel. So if you don't know what a Kegel is, it's like, when you have to pee and you got to hold the pee, right? So you hold for 10 seconds, release. Hold for 10 seconds, release. Hold for 10 seconds, release. Then we do isolation exercises. We're just around the base of the penis, you just squeeze those muscles. Then just around the anus, you just squeeze those muscles. Then left side of the anus, right side of the anus, you squeeze those muscles. So what you're doing is you're working out your pelvic floor muscles, and your PC muscles, your pelvic floor muscles. First of all, it's great for health because most of us are living sedentary lifestyles. We're at the computer all day, we're driving, everything is starting to sink and get weak. That pelvic floor muscle, as it becomes weak, it affects erection and bedroom performance. So the stronger you can make your pelvic floor, you should be able to bounce your penis up and down, like boom, 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 like like one of those like Spanish cars, boom, 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 put on some hip hop. Okay, I'm just trying to, right? But like, what I mean? You should be able to do that. And actually, if you're really strong in the pelvic floor, it should be like boom, boom, boom. You should have a really good bounce. And that's a good sign. If you have a really good bounce and you can squeeze and really tighten up like that, that's a good sign that you've got a strong pelvic floor. If you're struggling to squeeze like that, or if you notice you can't really produce a big bounce, strengthen your pelvic floor and you'll see that your erections and your ability to last longer will be there. This also helps us with non-ejaculatory sex, where you can last as long as you want because you're going to have the self-control to be able to stop ejaculation and bring down the erection at will. So this gives you tons of control in the bedroom. So take on a Kegel practice. Again, 2-3 times a week will help. And then there's an exercises that I learned that the Tibetan monks used called power winds. And this is basically when you sit down in like a yogi squat, and then you do the same exercises, but in a yogi squat. And again, I've got routines around this inside of the sexual alchemy course, and I will actually add a whole routine for you on the channel under the sexual alchemy playlist of live practices. I'll make sure to record as a supplementary video to this video as an introduction is a guided practice taking you through some PC muscle workouts and some of these techniques so that you can strengthen your erections. Work out, eat healthy. Those two things alone are going to start to just be overall good for your confidence and for your health. As your blood flow increases, so is your ability to have harder erections in a natural way. You can do the penis lengthening and strengthening exercises, just like a muscle. Stretch out your penis. It's a muscle, right? You know, just like any other muscle. You want it to be stronger, work it out. So take some workouts on and do some of those exercises, and then do the Kegel and PC muscle workout exercises as well to strengthen the pelvic floor. And you should see a great increase in your ability to control yourself in the bedroom and to restore your sexual health and libido, or your ability at least to perform well, have a harder erection. If you got any questions, shoot me a message. I'm here to answer questions and support you on your journey. Thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell button so you never miss a video. Leave your comments below. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.